Hello to all wonderful strong souls from AdiSveta. There is something awakening in humanity now. A steering beyond survival, beyond repetition, beyond the old agreement that life is only what the five senses can measure. For ages we have been taught to look outward for truth, through systems, through structures, through inherited beliefs, through stories handed down as final. But something within the human being is beginning to remember that consciousness may be far greater than the world we were trained to accept. What if this reality, as we know it, is only a fragment, a thin surface of a much greater field of existence? What if everything we were taught to fear, to obey, and never question was a part of a deeper forgetting? A forgetting of what we truly are. Because now, a new consciousness is emerging, or perhaps not new, but ancient and remembered. A consciousness that no longer wants to remain confined to the boundaries of logic alone, to the prison of material identity, to the life interpreted only through sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Humanity is beginning to inquire again, not only about purpose, not only about suffering, not only about healing, but about immortality, about the eternal, about the possibility that within us lives something untouched by decay, untouched by time, untouched by death itself. And maybe this is why so many old beliefs begin to feel thin now. Why inherited doctrines no longer satisfy the soul. Why some scriptures and systems once accepted without question now feel like veils. Partial truths, coded truths, or perhaps distorted truths, given to humanity in ways that kept us seeking outside ourselves rather than within. Because what if the one we seek was never separate from us? What if the eternal source was never distant, never hidden in some unreachable heaven, never reserved for saints, masters, or chosen beings? What if the source resides within us, experiencing our version of reality through us, through our griefs, through our longing, through our questions, through our joy, through our becoming? What if consciousness itself is the doorway? What if we human beings are far more than navigating a temporary world? What if our expressions of a higher intelligence, living through a temporary identity while carrying the seed of something vast, luminous, and unbound within us? Then the journey changes. It is no longer about becoming something outside ourselves. It is about remembering, unveiling, reclaiming. It is about realizing that the higher presence we long for, the truth we ache to touch, the divine intelligence we pray to meet, may already be alive in the deepest chambers of our own being. And perhaps this is why the soul begins to stir at certain moments in silence, in meditation, in heartbreak, in awe, in synchronicity, in those strange sacred instances when reality seems to soften and something ancient looks back at us from within. Maybe these are not accidents. Maybe they are signals, whispers from beyond the veil, reminders that consciousness was never meant to remain asleep forever. Perhaps humanity now stands at a threshold, a passage from unconscious living into conscious participation, a passage from programming into remembrance, a passage from limitation into inner revelation. Because when a being begins to remember that the source was never outside of them, everything changes. The search changes, the fear changes, the meaning of life changes, even the meaning of death begins to change. And so, perhaps the real question is no longer whether consciousness is evolving. The real question is, what begins to happen when a being remembers that the eternal has always lived within them? What awakens in the mind, in the body, in the soul, when the veil begins to thin? What if immortality is not a myth to worship from afar, but a mystery to realize from within? And what if answers we have searched for in systems, scriptures, and stars have been quietly waiting in the deepest chambers of our own awareness? Maybe this is only the beginning. Maybe humanity is standing at the threshold of a greater remembrance. Maybe the consciousness now emerging is here to reveal that what if we call reality is only the first layer of something far more vast, intelligent, and alive. So, before you dismiss the question, sit with it. Who are you beneath the conditioning, beneath the fear, beneath the identity you were handed? And if the eternal source truly lives within you, then what are you becoming? Perhaps the greatest secret was never how to find eternal, but how to remember that it was living through you all along. This is AdiSveta, your journey to remembrance.